Hi, beautiful people of the collective. Welcome to your reading. Today we're going to see which spirit animals want to have a talk with you. We're going to see what their advice is for you, kind of what the current lessons are within your path, and we're going to see what they have to say about that. So if you're vibing with my vibe, hi, welcome to your reading. My name is Mila, and this is Wood Monkey Tarot. So immediately before I started the reading, there was this crow kind of flying back and forth. Again, he's right there. It's like on cue. So that could already be a spirit animal coming forward here, or you might feel very connected to crows. You might resonate with having watched my TikTok video, the crow council meeting. I don't know why I'm saying like crow. I want to say crow, but I think it's crow. Anyways, let's get past that and let's see what spirit animals want to talk to the collective today. Okay, what spirit animals would like to talk with the collective today? Boom. We have Rhino Spirit. Overcome any obstacle coming forward here. Okay, so that's beautiful. You might recently have been dealing with a hardship in general. I'm seeing a spiral on top of its head, so I'm getting that there's a message here where you could have Scorpio placements where you're just always transforming, you're always running into patterns that you have to overcome. And Rhino Spirit is, I think, here to tell you that you can overcome anything because you're strong and you've built muscle. You've built muscle over time. What other spirit animal wants to come forward today and talk to the collective? Okay, we have two other guides coming out. We have the Electric Eel Spirit. Bring your ideas to life. So this has to do with, this card specifically talks about a phase of electrifying ideas. It's like you have divine inspiration coming to you and it is time for you to act on it. You know, there might be an obstacle here where you feel, okay, then we have the Buffalo Spirit, which we'll talk about. The abundant universe will provide. That's beautiful. I've never gotten this card. Ooh, and now I'm hearing like dogs fight outside. Interesting. So we have dogs and crows coming forward. Hecate could very much be relevant to some of you. This dark feminine energy is coming forward. And now I'm getting the Hindu goddess associated with, I think, Kali. But I have to check. Wait, give me a moment. Yes, okay, so I looked it up for a moment because I don't want to say anything wrong. But the goddess Chamunda, I'm sorry if I'm saying that wrong. I think that's how you say it. Chamunda is a fierce, terrifying manifestation of the Hindu divine mother, Adi Shakti, closely linked to Kali and Durga. So if you don't know who this goddess is, it is a manifestation, right? Because that's how it works in Hindu. I'm still kind of learning about it, but this is the goddess that's kind of coming forward. And I know that this goddess specifically works to help you transmute toxic masculinity and work with the sacred feminine in a way. They're also associated with getting rid of the ego. This is the god that destroys evil, basically. So it could be that the transitions that you're working with recently, or the obstacles that you've been encountering, are very deep. You know, this is like deep programming that you're working through. This is a deep transformation that is occurring. It's like if you've been ignorant in a way, like this is the goddess that will wake you up and be like, hey, we've gotta deconstruct this. We've gotta get rid of this ego. I'm gonna wake you up to these things because you need to step into your power. And if you look up this goddess, you can see a lot of like kind of scary images, but it just shows how powerfully protected you are, right? Because this goddess is working in your favor. And if you've had any fear, if you've had any, sense of like scarcity or fear or whatever it is, this goddess is here to empower you and to say that the universe is going to provide, right? The universe, and these are both horned beings. It's saying, it's almost giving me a sense of like you are extremely protected against evil eye or black magic or stuff like this. And I don't want to invoke any fear in people, but I am here to tell you that you are very protected by some very strong feminine energies. Yeah, so coming back to Rhino Spirit here, this card speaks about how you have, like I said, immense great strength right now that you can call on. You have the strength to overcome these very stubborn obstacles, right? Taurus energy is coming forward with these bulls, right? It is kind of telling me that the spirit guides that are working with you at this time are stubborn. They're gonna get you through this one way or another. And this card also specifically speaks on how you can do this in a creative way, that you can look at your obstacles from a perspective of, okay, I can either bullhead through this and I can go beyond and like kind of like bulldoze through it by setting and cementing my intentions in place, or I can make these obstacles into clouds and let them drift away. So that's what this card is talking about. So it's kind of giving me this idea, especially with the electric eel spirit, with bring your ideas into life. It's giving me this sense of you have the creative autonomy to decide how you're going to overcome this. You can decide what you do with these obstacles if you kind of assess them and be like, okay, this is what's blocking me out. But if I maybe look at it a little differently, if I see that this is just a spiral of life, that this is just a phase, that this is just something that happens for its own reasons, right? Then I can overcome it. Because it also, the rhino speaks about maybe there are certain immovable obstacles in front of you to protect you, to tell you sometimes we get obstacles really that spirit is trying to get, like there's that Taurus energy coming from spirit where it's like, no, we're not going there because they have a divine plan for you. So for a certain part of this collective, this is kind of telling you that maybe something isn't working out because it doesn't need to work out, because there is something else going to come in that you can't see at this time. And for others of you, this is about bulldozing through that obstacle and being like adamant on it. Like, I gotta do this thing. I gotta get through it, right? And Rhino Spirit and Electric Eel are here to help you with that. Specifically, the Electric Eel is here to bring your ideas to life. If you have creative ideas, they're going to help you get going on them. Specifically, I am getting a strong sense that this is about creative blockages within the collective. Not getting yourself to sit down and do the thing. That's why Rhino and Buffalo are here to say you're strong enough to trust the universe, to sit down, have discipline to actually do this thing. But there's this big theme, again, where this isn't about doing it from a toxic masculine place. And I think that this is the cycle, right? Because there are circles here, there are circles here. So there is a significant cycle that is being addressed. And I think since this has been coming up in the collective a lot recently, it has to do with how we approach our goals. And if we're coming from a toxic masculine place, we're gonna get blocked out. It's going to block our creativity, because if we don't do it from a place of love, from a place of joy, we're not gonna get ourselves to sit down and do the thing, because we are not meant to do it from that place anymore. Maybe it got us through certain really prickly situations in the past, right? Maybe it really helped us get out of stuck situations. Maybe even that toxic masculine energy was necessary at some points to protect ourselves and to get through certain environments that thrived in that toxic masculinity. You know what I mean? But And that even, now I'm hearing that even goes back to past lives. That some of your ancestors had to learn to utilize that toxic masculinity to survive, to keep going, to grow. I'm even getting mother figures now. Mother, grandmother figures who are looking at you and being like, okay, we had to do it that way, but you're breaking that cycle down right now. You're changing that. Which is big energy. That's why I'm pausing for a moment to let that sink in. Because that is big energy. That is big, significant, generational change that you're trying to overcome, trying to kind of, squeeze yourself through. I don't know why I'm getting it like that, but it is genuinely like kind of like you're kind of like tightening all your muscles and you're like, oh, I gotta get through this. I gotta break through this, right? And that is kind of the strength that is being evoked within you right now, that you can actually break through it. I'm kind of seeing this veil, almost like, you kind of gotta push real hard to break the veil. And this is the process that you're in right now. And this is why these guides are coming forward to help you. 1122 on my timer as I say that. And for the Buffalo Spirit, I would just like to read you a little bit of the card because I think it will just make sense. 1133 on my timer here. Buffalo Spirit comes to remind you of the extraordinary potential available when you adopt a mindset of abundance. The ancient people of the America saw the buffalo as a symbol of abundance because the herds roamed far and wide and provided so many gifts: the meat, the hide, the bones. The tribes who hunted the buffalo used every bit of them, wasting nothing. So too do you have many gifts available. Buffalo Spirit appears to let you know that you are in a powerful time to manifest your desires, not by force, but rather by following a natural path that rises up within you. And why is this so significant is because I literally just talked about that. Finding your own way of getting through this thing. Finding your own way that is going to rise naturally within you to get through this. And this is something that I also think the collective has been dealing with. It's that masculine energy of, I need to plan, I need to construct, I need to be disciplined, I need to do it this and this and this way. Where you're breaking that down and you're learning how to become a disciplined individual from a space of intuition, from a space of trusting yourself and trusting you have the mechanisms, you have the tools to do this without needing to control every single aspect of it. 1311 on my timer. You trust that you create your reality by being you and staying in alignment with your highest intentions. And just kind of, I'm seeing like a camera focusing out. It's like you're going to do it rather, it's like you're making your camera more blurry while still looking at the same goal. Instead of looking at every minor single little detail and trying to control how that looks like, you're defocusing a bit more and you're just allowing yourself to get through it naturally, right? So let's see here. When you are grateful, you align yourself with the truth that the world is rich and teeming with resources. There's always more than enough, and you are always enough, right? And that's another thing. We think we're not enough, which is also that kind of like that fucking, I just said fucking patriarchy. The patriarchy teaches us that we need to outperform, that we need to be better, bigger, stronger, to feel heard, right? That is a limitation, a programming that has been put on us, especially women, for years and years and years and years and years. And it's not just women, it's everybody. Everybody, all genders. We're limited because of the patriarchy and how this whole place is constructed. That's why it takes time and a lot of effort and a lot of strength to deconstruct that. right? But that is what's happening because you are enough, and you're learning that no matter what, no matter how you move through this obstacle, you're enough to get through it. You're seeing your own power. Buffalo Spirit's message is to remember that you co-create your reality with Spirit. So offer thanks and praise as you acknowledge all that you have and all that is possible. That's beautiful. Now, I want to get a little bit of a message in who you are today with my character deck. I want to see, because these are the energies of your spirit guides and the strength that they want to invoke in you today. But now let's get into who you are. What is your current energy? So that afterwards we can get a little bit more about the lessons that are kind of being played out in front of you in the field. And then we can lastly get some advice regarding these lessons. Giorno Giovanni! JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Wow, I rarely get this card. Yeah, it is like the Buffalo Spirit says. You are at a time where you can create your reality. Giorno Giovanni is a character who literally manifests objects to become life. That is his superpower. That is what he does. He gets an object and then he creates life out of it. He transforms it. He manifests it. He is the creator, right? And there's also this very feminine edge to him. That's why I love this character so much, because it feels like, you know, in JoJo's, they're always kind of like, I don't know, subconsciously breaking gender norms, in my opinion. And now I've got like a crow like running over my rooftop. So yeah, you are the creator. You're in a kind of like in a liminal space right now. I'm just getting Hecate with that crow as well. It's like you're in this liminal space where you hold the power to go anywhere you want to go. You hold the key, right? You're a visionary. You're extremely purpose-driven. There's that Scorpio energy that I was talking about in the beginning of the reading, by the way. I can't make it up. I really cannot make it up. But then there's that controlling vibe to you, right? You're trying to control the outcome, which is very interesting because that's exactly what you're kind of learning to let go of. You're very idealistic as well. That's what I'm talking about. Instead of doing it I feel like this is just a confirmation of the energy that we're already reading. You know, you're in an extremely transformative phase right now. And yeah, I even have Jotaro on the bottom of the deck here. So you could be a JoJo's Bizarre Adventure fan if you're watching this. Could be very significant. Let's see. Who else? What else is your energy at this moment in this time? Okay, boom. What's coming out here? The Bride. Again, Scorpio energy. I'm telling you, check out where you have Scorpio in your chart, because it's significant energy. You have a deep love for whatever it is you're trying to do. You're dedicated. You're almost like obsessed with it. You're obsessed with this purpose. You're obsessed with your goal, right? The bride from Kill Bill is like, she's gonna do everything. She's going to bulldoze through every freaking obstacle to get there to his house to kill that man. And I feel like this is a theme that's currently accurate, because like it reminds me again of the Pedal music video by Ariana Grande. Like maybe like gory, you know, spaghetti westerns could be significant, or just like gory horror movies could be significant. Maybe recently you've been watching that. You're determined. You're resilient. Also, my nose is getting like super itchy right now. So I don't know, somebody out here got a cold or something. You're disciplined. you're going for it. I'm just kind of like, I'm kind of like at a, I can't speak anymore. Okay, and now I'm getting Ariana Grande. Hate That I Made You Love Me. So there could be some significant resentment towards an ex. I mean, we do have the bride out here. It could be that it's something like, and I hate that I made you love me. I'm sorry if I made you tired. Yeah. It's just kind of like giving me the idea that you really want to break away from something. And I think this is for a specific part of this collective, where the thing you're struggling with, the obstacle you're struggling with, is letting go of this person. Now I'm reading the lyric, a bee stuck in honey. It's like you want to break free from this so bad, but it's also hard to let this go. It's like you see that this person cannot grow with you. You see that they're not worth your time. But there's also, you're struggling to let it go because you know they love you in a sense. But that's for a specific collective here, for a specific part of the collective. Now let's get into the lesson here for you. Specifically, the lyrics that keep coming forward is, just know that I will find my way from you like flowers from a tomb. You decide who you are, right? That is specifically a theme that's going to be relevant for a couple of you. Okay, I'm sorry I keep singing, by the way. I just really can't help myself. I love the new album and I can't help myself. Okay, now we're really gonna get into the lesson. So the lesson here, what I felt called to blah, blah, blah. I'm really struggling today. I hope whoever's still watching this 2211 is with me and is okay with that. I'm kind of a little all over the place, but we're gonna get this reading out. Mars in Scorpio. The biggest lesson for Mars Scorpio is that they learn not to act on their wounds all the time. They learn to move from a place of love instead of pain, right? Because Scorpios, they tend to have dealt with so much pain, right? A Scorpio in Mars tends to wait, observe, and strike when it's time. You know, a Mars in Scorpio is somebody who is very determined when they do have a goal. But oftentimes that comes from a place of, like, I want to say revenge, or like the deeper emotional wounds that we carry, right? So their anger isn't really superficial. It's more, you know, you really can hold things inside. And so the lesson is, how can you use your power consciously instead of moving from a place of trauma, fear, pain, those wounds, right? And I think that is the most significant lesson here. It's don't move from a place of also control, because Scorpio is a fixed sign. Let's not forget, yes, it's a water sign, but it's a fixed sign. So you're gonna stick to it. You're gonna want control, right? And it's like, learn to kind of not let your emotions be the master of you, but learn to master your emotions. Is this upright or reverse? What's coming out here? Upright or reverse? Okay, sideways. I'm gonna check that with my pendulum really quickly. Yeah, so we have the 10 of Pentacles coming forward, and I am getting that this is about honing in on your long-term goals. This is about feeling very intensely, I just keep coming back to that Scorpio, very intensely about your legacy, that long-term goal, that that wealth that you are pursuing, that like maybe that's even your way of taking revenge. You know, you're like, I'm gonna do this for me. I'm gonna get to those heights, right? And it's kind of, your intensity is not the problem. It's learning where to direct that energy. It is learning where that intense passion deserves to be pointed at. So there's something here about learning to value your community, learning to value long-term thinking for a different reason than maybe revenge. And maybe if that doesn't resonate for you, it is just genuinely about building a legacy here. The lesson here is the courage and time it takes to build that legacy, and also not to have rigid expectations about it, right? Because we do have that kind of controlling obsessiveness to this energy, that fixed sign energy, where it's like, don't obsess over a certain outcome, because that restricts what's possible to be manifested, and it restricts your spirit guides in a way, because they need freedom to help you get to where you want to go. And if you think in a rigid way, if you think, okay, this is how I'm going to go there, you block out all the pathways that spirit has lined up for you. So I think that's like one of the major lessons here, is learning to honor that. I hope I'm making sense, guys. It's also kind of learning to see and understand that this goes beyond your lifetime. You know, this isn't just your lifetime that you're doing this for. This legacy goes far beyond just you and your children, or the children that come after them. You know, this is so much bigger. And I think some of you already know this, but maybe it's time for you to kind of hone in on that. We have the Four of Cups in reverse. What else? One more lesson for the collective here. Oh gosh, those are a lot of cards. We have the Four of Wands, the Devil in reverse, and the King of Wands upright in reverse. I think that's a reversal, but I'm gonna double check with my pendulum. Okay, so with the Four of Cups in the reverse, it's really a lesson about seeing the abundant universe is providing for you. Because this card basically talks about thinking that it's apathy, right? Getting out of apathy. It's getting out of the idea that you have to isolate, that you have to kind of, you're not meant to be sitting back and kind of watch all these opportunities float past you because you are in an apathetic state towards yourself. It's also kind of like, you know, that Scorpio energy, that the bride energy, where it's like you're moving from a place of, maybe some of you are moving from a place of, I gotta keep going, I gotta keep doing this, I gotta go towards my legacy, because there's a necessary healing phase you don't want to sit with, right? There's a feeling of like, you don't trust that the universe will provide for you. So it's either you don't trust that the universe is providing for you, so you're sitting back and doing nothing, or you keep going because you want to avoid a part of your healing, because you don't want to confront these very scary feelings, right? These intense, deep emotional feelings. You know, you could have a combination of like having a Scorpio placement, a big Scorpio placement, but then also having like an Aquarius placement, which makes you very detached. You know, you could have a duality like that, where it's like, I'm gonna just not confront my emotions, and I'm gonna keep working on my goals to make me think, and it like creates a pattern of like, oh, I gotta keep going, and it's like that toxic masculine energy that needs to be broken down, right? Otherwise you're stuck in that cycle. I really hope this is resonating for those who are watching. Yeah, the milestones are not being acknowledged. The fact that you've come so far is not really being acknowledged. It is, you know, the Devil reverse here. It is like, do you even acknowledge how much work you've done? How much shadow work you've done? How many attachments you've already let go of? How much growth you have been doing? Do you even acknowledge that? No, because you think you just gotta keep going. Like, that's kind of the vibe that I'm getting here. It's like you don't feel empowered by it. Why don't you feel empowered by all the things you've already done, girl? It's a gender neutral term, by the way, if you didn't know yet. It's like, why don't you feel empowered by all this strength you already have? Rhino spirit. That's really the lesson here. Can you see how incredible you are? Do you hear that? There's like beep, beep, beep going on outside. Confirmation. And now I'm seeing dogs outside. Like, I can't make it up, guys. There are some divine feminine goddesses coming forward here, trying to help you acknowledge how powerful you are, how supported you are. They're rooting for you. They're really trying to, like, and I'm just seeing somebody like kind of hitting somebody's ass and being like, come on, girl, get going. Like, you got the strength, you got the power. You know, it's kind of like when you kind of nudge a horse to run faster in a non-aggressive manner, obviously. It's kind of giving that, like putting a pepper up your ass and being like, come on, keep it moving, keep it going. You're stronger than you think. Confront the obstacle, confront the pain, because we got you. We're sitting there right with you. The transformation might not be easy, might be very hard. And this is what I'm trying to tell you, what I'm trying to distinctively show you, is that you don't have to do it from a place of detachment, from a place of non-emotion. It is actually much more about getting through the emotional part of it, confronting the emotional part of it, right? And acknowledging how much of that work you've already done, because really it's about you feeling more empowered in who you are, feeling more empowered in your creative endeavors, in your leadership qualities, in your charisma, in your strength, in the passion you hold. That's what you got to feel empowered in. Okay? Now, I want to get a last couple of cards here for you. Let's see, what is the advice? What is the most important advice the universe has for you at this time? These spirit guides have for you. Okay? We got the Two of Swords. It's like, stop fighting with yourself. Embrace these different qualities, embrace these different sides to yourself. It's almost what I'm getting here. One more card. What is the advice for the collective? Okay. We have the Six of Pentacles in reverse. How are you giving to yourself at this time? How are you nurturing yourself? And it's so beautiful and interesting that this Two of Swords, specifically in the Botticelli deck, talks about a search for help. What is given returns. So understand, whatever energy you put out there comes back to you tenfold, right? You have to trust that all the work you've been putting in is being acknowledged. You have to learn and see that the energy output is what you will receive. So keep coming from a place of love, because if you come from a place of kind of that bride energy and that kind of like ruthless, harsh energy, that's exactly what you're going to be met with along the way. You know, it's kind of like you're creating your own obstacles by thinking and assuming that's what's going to be ahead of you. And if you assume that the universe is going to make all your problems go away, then that's exactly what's going to start happening. Your problems are going to start going away. And of course, there is kind of a nuance there. You can't be delusional in that. You need to have discernment and understand what parts are yours to do and what parts you can leave to the universe. But I do feel like there's a big spiritual advice here regarding how you need to start receiving certain energy. 3-4-4-4. Yes, it's the universe's turn. Don't forget that this is a co-creation. You can't do it all by yourself. And the universe is trying to tell you that they want to take the wheel. They want to start providing for you. But you got to start believing that they will first. You know what I mean? I think that is the most significant spiritual message here. If you think the world is full of corruption, which obviously it is, but if you focus on that energy, if you focus on the fact that this world is a corrupted place, that's exactly what you're going to be met with more. If you assume that there's a lot of evil eye on you, what do you think's going to happen? You have to shift your focus. You have to, because that's where your power lies. If you keep focusing on joy, wealth, abundance, in the fact that you are already that, you embody that already, you focus on gratitude, etc. You know, you have a deep knowing that you are protected. Guess what? If you know that you're being provided for, if you create that, if you reprogram, if you focus on that, guess what will happen? Right? The teacher. Growth, wisdom, endurance, discipline, resilience, and patience. Nautish, the rune, is coming forward. Every challenge arrives with exactly what you need to overcome. And this is a beautiful message because I literally was talking about it before I even read the card. Where are you focusing on lack instead of possibility? Exactly. How do you see your obstacles as a form of restriction? And how can you start seeing these obstacles as an opportunity? This is a divine opportunity for growth. Every obstacle that I've ever encountered in my own personal life has eventually led to me seeing how it made me grow, how it made me stronger, how it gave me skills that were necessary for that next phase of my life. That's why now when I see an obstacle, I understand immediately that this is necessary for me. This is another stepping stone. I'm grateful for my obstacles. I'm grateful the universe shows me. I had an accident a couple months ago. And I feel called to tell you this story, so I'm going to tell you about it. I had a really bad accident. I was cycling through the city and I got rammed in by another scooter mobile thing. And it was really tough. I got knocked out for a couple minutes. There were a lot of people. The other guy had to go to the hospital. He broke his nose and everything. It was really bad. I was out of society for like a couple weeks because I had to recover physically. My shoulder still hurts. It's still recovering from that accident. But it happened because I was going and going and going and going and going. I was overworking myself. I was constantly thinking about what to do next. And I was not sitting and acknowledging my growth. So Spirit said, you know what? We gonna knock you out, girl. We gonna stop you in your tracks because you are not acknowledging how you are burning yourself out and you're still going through the burnout. So I'm just gonna stop you right here, right now. And I hated it at first because I was like, I can't work. What am I gonna do? How am I gonna make money? How am I gonna pay my rent? And Spirit really said, no, because we're gonna provide for you. And I had strange sources of income. And like all of a sudden I was like, oh, wait a second. Yeah, no, I am provided for. I don't need to overwork myself. And the universe is going to help me where necessary. Nothing happens without reason. Every obstacle is there to help you grow, to help you see. It's there to help you raise your vibration. So even if you feel like the victim, if you feel like things are happening against your will, the universe is doing it for you. Right? little story time. I hope you enjoyed that. Abundance coming out here. Clean your space. A clean mind, release the clutter and welcome fresh energy. Cleansing, a reset, a sanctuary. Yeah, make sure you clean your space as well. Maybe your room has been messy. Make sure you clean it because it could cause, you know, mental friction, mental blockages as well. Especially if you're a writer or a creative, make sure you clean your space. If you have old things in your room or in your house, that objects hold dense energy. Maybe even from people, from your ex or whatever it is. Get rid of those things, girl. Get rid of them. You know what I mean? But really, this is about a deep cleansing that needs to happen, and you need to allow that to occur so that you can allow more abundance into your life. You have to create space for abundance in your life. Reap what you sow, prosperity, nourishment, gratitude. Exactly. Focus on gratitude. Focus on it. Citrine. Start working with that crystal more. Sleep with citrine under your pillow. Listen to abundance frequencies. Do whatever you can to help you align to a more abundant frequency here. Right? Okay, let's get a few more cards from this deck and see what Spirit wants to give you as advice right now. Okay. Oh gosh, those are a lot of cards. I'm just going to take these two. We've got mirror work and candles. I light up the darkness with your divine spark. One of my friends made this. I haven't seen it yet. You light up the darkness with your divine spark. You literally are the light. Know that you illuminate anything. All the darkness that you are faced with is something you can handle. The universe, God, would never put you in a place that they thought you could not get out of. They put you there because they know you will overcome it. Like, they literally wouldn't put you there if they thought that you could never get out. And that is something you have to start understanding. Like, even if the obstacles you're faced with and you feel like you could never overcome it, the universe knows you will. And that is something that should be giving you more strength. Mirror work, self-reflection. Speak to yourself differently. Exactly, there's that manifestation work that you have to start doing on yourself. You have to start speaking to yourself as if you're already there. That's how you can manifest your next reality. Have some more compassion. It talks about self-compassion. Do the mirror work. Put affirmations next to your mirror and speak them out every morning. Stuff like that is very significant. Okay, Spirit, I want one last message for this collective, and then I'm gonna let you guys go. Okay. Snails, slowing down. Finding home within divine timing. So if you've been looking for a new home, exactly, like we had the 10 of Pentacles out here, right? So this is just a confirmation for those who are really looking for a new home, who are trying to build a new home. Know that that as well will happen in divine timing. Finding the home that is inside of you takes patience. Know there is divine timing everywhere, all the time. I love my friends. So understand that everything happens in divine timing, that the home is built within yourself first, and that is important. Things will unfold just how they should. If you start looking for the home within yourself, it will give you a lot more peace. It will give you a lot more peace. And that is the first step to finding your dream house. It's finding the home within yourself. Okay, I think that's all I have for you today. I really hope you enjoyed this reading, and if you stay till the end, put a little snail in the comments, because I always love to know who actually watches these readings all the way through. And yeah, I appreciate you so much. The best way you can support me at this time is by following me, subscribing to this channel, leaving comments, just engaging with the content is really appreciated at this time. And if you want to book a personal reading, you can do that through the link in my description. I love you so much, and I'm sending you so much love and strength on this journey. You got this. I love you.